Well, we're the GaZ cast, but like it's just Gabe and Zach on a cast. We just like a cast of characters.
Welcome to the GaZ cast. It's your boy, Gabe and Zach casting. Here we go. So
At it again.
today is Wednesday, the what? 7th, 6th, 6th?
I no, it can't be. It's
Dude.
got to be maybe it is. I don't know. We're all I know is this is the first episode of 2021. So
Woo!
it's a whole new
Goddamn,
fucking
we back,
era.
baby.
We made it. We fucking made it. Back at it again in a whole new year. A whole new year.
Indeed. We back and we better. And you know what that means? It's a new year. That means playoff time, my friend.
Fucking
NFL
playoff
playoffs. Saturday, January 9th. Got the Colts versus the Bills, Rams versus the Seahawks, and the Bucks versus Washington. Now, which one of these games do you want to tackle first? We're just gonna start at the top.
No. I think we should go in reverse. Let's start with the Washington game. Let's start with that Washington game.
Hey, let's do it. All right, before we hit that game, let's talk about what happened on Sunday. Was this the worst football game that you've ever witnessed in your life?
No. Not
at least top 10.
So this is not the worst NFL game I've ever watched for sure, because I don't know what y'all do during the weeks, but there was a time about a couple weeks ago where not a couple weeks ago, maybe it was like about a month ago, where nothing was really going on. So you got some Wednesday college football games on. It's glorified high school teams. So I've watched some teams play that just they weren't good at football. So it wasn't a good football game. But this game was terrible for a Sunday night game. That's probably the worst Sunday night football game I've ever seen. Like, some Monday night games suck, most Thursday night games suck, but Sunday night's games are usually got something going.
Yeah, no, this was definitely probably the worst Sunday night game ever. We had the tanking Eagles versus the Washington football team that just knew that they were going to get in basically no matter what. I mean, they could have lost and been out of it, but whenever the Eagles, who are already an awful team, are literally just trying to hand the game to you, I mean, you kind of can't lose, I guess.
So we got to get into this, but I'm just going to put this out here. At the end of the game, when the coaches are shaking hands, Ron Rivera walks up to Doug Peterson and says, "Thanks." He says thanks. So I don't know if there was an agreement before. I will say, everyone who's saying that this Sudfeld guy shouldn't have been in the game, we kind of should have seen this coming. They took Carson Wentz off the active roster and they put this guy in to be the backup quarterback. So you're thinking, all right, most Week 17 games, you see more than one quarterback per team. They took out Wentz for a reason, and I guess they've seen enough from Hurts to be their guy, kind of. And they said, hey, put in this guy. It just happened that this guy, he wasn't good at football. At least not on Sunday night, because his first like play, they sent the whole blitz, and he just ran basically out of bounds and threw a 10-yard pass to the ball boy, and the next pass he punted the ball. Like, he threw the pass, but it was a punt. It was a very good punt. I'll give him that, but it wasn't much going for him.
Dude, so I heard that if the Eagles would have won this game, it would have put them, I think, about 10 spots. Yeah, 9, 10 spots back. But because they lost, they're what, top 5?
They're at 6. I think he was going to be they were going to be anywhere from 6 to 9 or 10. So it was, substantial difference
to lose
for a team that needs a lot,
Yeah,
I don't know, with a bunch of quarterbacks going early in the draft, at 6th pick is usually around a top 4 pick, because you're going to see 2, if not 3 quarterbacks off real quick.
Yeah. All right. Enough of the disgusting NFC East.
I want to ask you. Do you think Jalen Hurts is their guy? Think they roll with him next season?
I think that don't believe in him enough. I'm not going to say enough because maybe he isn't the guy. I think that they will have a quarterback battle over OTAs or the offseason or whatever between him and Wentz, but no, I don't think that
Wentz
I
is
don't think he's the
Wentz
guy.
is gonna Wentz is gonna get traded.
You think
There's
so?
no way. I mean, there is the tough thing of actually trading him, like finding someone to take him, but he like officially said he wanted out, and you don't have one quarterback when you have two quarterbacks. Like it doesn't work. Two guys competing for a job is nice, but when you bench someone for somebody and then say, "Hey, I want you to come compete with this guy," like I think he's over that.
But I don't think Hurts is good. Is Hurts good enough to be
No.
the starter?
So I think he can be. I'm not saying he is the right guy. I'm not saying he's going to be this elite quarterback or anything, but it seems like they're done with Wentz. And that relationship is kind of fractured. So at that point, I don't think it's between Hurts and Wentz. I think it's between Hurts and drafting a guy. I think it's between Hurts and bringing in a free agent. So at that point, now you have to evaluate Hurts compared to somebody other than Carson Wentz. That's how I look at it. But
yeah, for sure. Okay, well, like I said, done with the NFC Eastern teams. Hopefully, we'll be done with them by Saturday.
no,
We got it. Washington versus the Bucks. I'm wearing, of course, the GOAT's rightful jersey.
Are they in the playoffs?
My Tom Brady Patriots jersey. Are we in the
Patriots
playoffs?
Team in the playoffs?
I mean, we was only like 4 wins away from possibly being in the playoffs.
So was it a Tom Brady dynasty? Was it a Bill Belichick dynasty? Patriots dynasty? Because I know Tom, he left your team and he made the playoffs, but your team didn't. So I'm wondering what's going on there.
Well, I will say this. Tom can only be in the league for only so much longer. Belichick can coach until he croaks. So hopefully he does, and hopefully he stays with my team. And we'll go on and win a couple more bowls. It'll be easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, my friend.
Cereal bowls? Like Fruit Loops?
Nah, them Super Bowls, boy. Them just that be on them roids, son.
Okay. Little Wheaties action. All right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, heck yeah. All right, so this game, this might be the most surefire game of the weekend, I would say. Because if I'm telling you, if an NFC East team goes on, advances in the playoffs, I don't just You telling me that you think that a team that barely was able to make the playoffs in the NFC East can beat the GOAT with weapons and a defense?
Here's what I'm going to say. I think there is a better chance that what the Washington football team beats Tom Brady than there is a chance that the Cleveland Browns, with their coach gone, 7 or 8 players gone, dealing with COVID, not being able to practice, beats the Steelers at their place. Washington has the recipe. I'm not saying they're going to beat them, but they have. How do you beat Tom Brady? You blitz Tom Brady. You make him throw it quick, and you get to the quarterback, and you have a good defense. And now Washington's offense is not very good. But we've seen the Buccaneers' defense it can be really good at times, but sometimes it's not there. So if they can play the exact way they want to play, and they keep it low scoring, keep it a 24-17 game, I think it's not out of the realm possibility. But the way it's looking for the Browns, it looks like the Steelers are just going to kill them. I mean, they almost beat them with Mason Rudolph playing quarterback when they had more of their team. So, I don't know.
That is a good point. I think that, yes, anything can happen in football, but I'm not sure that I'm just sold on the Steelers.
No, I get that. I get that, but I don't think I don't know. Like,
being that they're division rivals, being that the Steelers can barely rush for over 50 yards in a game, their offensive line can't hold up blocks for more than 2.5, 3 seconds. Big Ben aging. I mean, come on now. There is a chance that the Browns get after them.
Sure, there's a chance. I I'm just saying, I would take Washington in the points, and like you can make any parlay you want in your life, throw in Steelers money line, and that part's gonna hit. That's what I'm saying. We'll see how it goes. But so do you see Tom Brady? Is he gonna be worried about this D line coming at him, or is he just go ahead and he's already looking forward to the Packers?
I don't think Tom Brady is even. Well, obviously he's the GOAT, and obviously he does care about preparation. And you can get in trouble whenever you're not looking forward to a certain team. But I do think that he's much more worried about the Packers. I mean, this Washington D line is pretty good. Their DBs, not the greatest. I think that he'll be able to tear them up. And good news, we did see Mike Evans. He had like a nasty looking injury. He kind of limped off the field, but they did do an MRI. They said no structural damage. He should be available for the game. The Buccaneers are going to tear them up.
But, okay, now, it's a great sign. AB and Godwin killed it last game. So, without Mike Evans, I was never against Antonio Brown coming in, but it seemed a little unnecessary because you already have two elite receivers, and when those two are on the field together, you kind of want to feed both of them and not take one of them out of the thing. I think part of the reason they kind of all been a little shaky was just there's three of them to feed out there. It's tough for even Tom Brady to make three like top tier receivers happy. So when there was two of them, it worked perfectly. But is Mike Evans healthy? Like, I know there's no structural damage, but I think there's a good chance he's out there, but he's a decoy. He's just out there kind of half running and he's just there, which could work. You know, if you throw an early pass to him and then you say, all right, we're actually going to go away and just this is going to be a Godwin Antonio Brown game, which you don't need three receivers to beat the Washington football team. But I would like to see, is Mike Evans really healthy?
Yeah, I can see a reality in which they sit him because once again, I don't think that they're super duper worried about Washington, and that is what I would do if I were the coach, being that I'm facing this Washington team. But you want to have all your weapons out there. What if something does go wrong? What if Washington is keeping up with you? Well, then I'm going to use what I have to try and win the game. But hopefully they don't have to worry about that.
So what, like, I think, let's say Mike Evans is 75%. I think I'm putting him on the active roster, and I'm not starting him. I'm throwing out Scotty Miller in there. I'm using two tight end sets. And if it gets close and you think Mike Evans is a difference maker, throw him in the lineup. But against the Packers, which if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, they will play the Packers next week. And Jair Alexander is a shutdown corner. So you want him on one guy, and you want two other guys to be able to run. So if Mike Evans is fully healthy by that week, he will be guarded by Jair Alexander, and then you have Antonio Brown and Godwin on the field, not being guarded by a stud. So, but if you only have two guys, then Tom's going to be looking at just one receiver basically the whole game, unless he wants to throw to Jair's side.
Indeed. All right, well, like I said, I think Washington's out of here. I think that the Bucks could make the Super Bowl. I think that they might be my pick because I do see a reality in which they make it. We'll get into it after we go over the matchups. But talking about your Super Bowl pick to make it out of the NFC, NFC.
To make it there.
The Rams versus the Seahawks. They have the 4:40 Eastern game. It'll be 3:40 here, Central Time. Rams versus the Seahawks. Sean McVay versus Pete Carroll. Russell Wilson versus Wolford.
Yeah. Is it official yet? Have they said anything?
No, they haven't. They haven't made anything official. Jared Goff dealing with a thumb injury. You would need your thumb on your throwing hand to make some things happen. But I'm honestly not sure how much better Jared Goff could throw with and without a thumb. Just being honest here.
Yeah, I want to stick with my pick, but I get a cop out if John Wolford is my quarterback, right? Like, that's not who I picked.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Jared Goff is some world beater, but John Wolford wasn't a starting quarterback, and there was a reason why he wasn't. No one was talking about him as a backup quarterback. Like, it's just a guy. So I think if Jared Goff's there, if he can show up, play some football, I think they can win that game. The Seahawks aren't playing that well, but it's tough when you give a team a whole week to prepare for a playoff game and you're playing against a backup. I mean, there's just things you can do. Pete Carroll, defensive coach. I mean, there's things you can do to make a rookie or a young guy or just a not great quarterback just make them uncomfortable pretty easily.
No, I would agree. I think that as far as Wolford goes, he can move. He's a lot a bit more mobile than Goff, so that adds an extra element. But I still think that the Rams can win this game, in my opinion. Of course, anything can happen, but I actually sprinkled a little money on the Rams in a parlay. I do have a parlay with the Seahawks winning, of course, but I do have one with the Rams winning, and this is because the Rams defense. I mean, the D-line, great. Aaron Donald should win Defensive Player of the Year unless Watt wins, but my vote would be for Donald because the guy is a monster, dude. I mean, he literally has to get double teamed. And even with that, he's still getting to the quarterback. They have lockdown corners on the outside. And in the games that they played this year, let's see, whenever they played the Rams. All right, so Rams beat the Seahawks 23-16, I believe, in their last game. And the Seahawks beat them, but it was also a close game. And this is whenever they had Goff. So with the backup, we'll see how they move on offense. They are without Cooper Kupp, unfortunately for them. But
is he missing again?
I believe he is missing the game again. So it is going to be tough. But come on, man.
Gabe.
Dude, they've been struggling. Seahawks been struggling.
That's fine. There is like, what are you going to do on offense? You have Rob Woods is really good. I like him a lot. I think he's very underrated, but as a number one without a number two out there, that's tough for anybody. That's tough for the best receivers in the game. So with the backup, Cam Akers he played last week, but he's not fully healthy. Darrell Henderson was out last week. The Seahawks defense has been better. Now, it has been kind of because the offense hasn't been as good. As crazy as that sound is, they kind of shifted a little bit, but I don't know.
I will say this, for the Seahawks defense, Jamal Adams also questionable.
Okay.
No, for the game.
I think Jamal. If Jamal doesn't play, I do think the Rams will be able to run the ball because he's more of like a linebacker, honestly. And if he doesn't play, but I mean he's gonna play. Questionable in the playoffs means I'm going to play. Like, that's what that means. You're doubtful. There's a 60% chance you play. Like, it's win or go home. Win or go home.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Bucks, Washington. You taking Washington?
No.
Of course.
I did say. Remember, a couple months ago, I said, "Hey, watch out when the Washington faces Tom Brady, and there's a chance he beats him." So I will be cheering for that.
Disgusting and disgraceful. All right, Seahawks Ram.
To who?
To the GOAT. You know what's up.
I'm disgracing the NFL Comeback Player of the Year, Alex Smith.
That man's the Comeback Player of the Year.
He had no leg.
He was on the field.
No, he had no leg. You know he's 5-1. I think he's 6-1. He's 6-1 in games they start. Or 5-1. 5-1. He's 5-1 in games he starts. Better than Tom Brady.
Well, Brady definitely has a higher seed, and Brady is what,
doesn't.
6-9
He doesn't
in the
have the
Super
higher
Bowl?
seed. He doesn't have the higher seed.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They are playing in Washington. Yeah. I don't think it
This is a
makes a
home
difference.
game.
Come on now. Let's be honest. Come on now.
Okay.
All right. Now, the Bills.
No.
Quarterback
Is
by.
there not another game
What?
we can go to? Is that all
Oh,
Saturday
no,
games?
those are the 2 Saturday games. This is the first one.
There's 3 Saturday games. 4, isn't there?
Yeah, no, 3.
3. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay. All right, Bills.
This is the first game.
Get into it. Lead into it.
The Bills, quarterback by your second place MVP pick.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jared Allen, the guy that you say that you would vote
Jared
for.
Allen.
Oh, excuse me.
Allen.
I'm sorry.
Disgracing the
Josh
future
Allen.
MVP of the league.
I think Jared Allen is better, even though he's not a quarterback. He's a DN, but all time. He could make the Hall of Fame.
He is about to be a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Indeed. But yes, Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, your second place MVP vote, versus your team, the Indianapolis Colts. What is going to happen on this Saturday? Let's get into it. Do you believe that the Colts can make a run?
First of all, I want to hear your pick. I want to hear your pick on this game first. Give me the insight.
I think it's going to be slaughterhouse in the blouse. Bills going to steamroll over the Colts. Yes, the Colts have a really good defense, to be honest. They have a really good defense. But with Phil Rivers going against what has been basically a top 10 defense of the Bills in the last 6 weeks of the season, that dude is one sporadic just already. But in the playoffs, his playoff record is definitely really, really spotty over his career. So I'm rolling with the hot Bills right now. I think they'll have a tougher challenge later on in the playoffs, but I think that they're going to steamroll right over your Colts. Now, the only saving grace, your boy Jonathan Taylor,
run the damn ball. That's our motto, baby. That's our motto.
That is the thing. But if y'all put the ball in Phil Rivers' hands, good luck, my man. Good luck.
All right. So this is the matchup of the week. There's no better game on the slate than this game. The Bills, the hottest team in football, who with the wide receiver who might be playing the best in football. I'm not saying he is the best, but he might be playing it. He might be. I mean, him and Devontae Adams are going back and forth at who's the guy this year, along with Tyreek, but he's a different breed. But okay, the Colts defense is very opportunistic. It's not the best defense, but we can take the ball away. Josh Allen, the last time he was in the playoffs, was up 16 points on the Houston Texans and tried to do way too much. Tried to make every play, got sacked, tried to lateral the ball for no reason, lost the ball. And if we can force him to do that in a game that maybe there's snow, maybe it's really cold outside, maybe his throws aren't perfect, there's a good chance. And Diggs, if we can figure out how to guard this dude, make the other guys beat us, which they can, Josh Allen, deep pass game is amazing. And the Colts' deep pass defense is not very good. That scares me. That scares the hell out of me. But our run defense, with their running backs, we are going to make Josh Allen beat us with 50 throws, which he can do. I'm not saying he can't do it, but that is the recipe. We're going to run the ball, keep them off the field, and make them pass every down. First and 10, they're passing. Second and 11, they're passing. Third and 8, they're passing. There's nothing. Third and 2, they got to pass, or Josh Allen's got to run. I'm going to go with the upset. The Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor is going to get 35 carries. He's going to get 35 carries. Jonathan Taylor might catch 6 more screens. He may take one of them to the house. T.Y. Hilton in a playoff game, I don't know. He might tighten his little hamstrings up for a game or two. Get out there.
I will say, what if the Bills are up? If the Bills are up,
we're done.
You won't be able to run the ball.
Done. We're done. I'm with that. But we can get here's what I'm gonna say. If there is we win the coin toss, right? Most team in the playoffs, defer. No. We need to receive the ball and hand the ball to John Taylor, take the whole first quarter, and score a touchdown. That's what we need to do. There needs to be none of this. We don't need to play it safe. We need to go at them, make them beat us. Because if we play their game, we're done. We are done. But if we can figure out how to make them play our game, make them just pass. We did this to Mahomes last year, regular season. We had Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Hand the ball off to Marlon Mack 35 times. You see Mahomes just sitting there, just like, I want to get in the game. We came back on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is sitting on the sideline. That's how you beat a great quarterback. You just don't let him beat you. You give him a minute drive and then make him sit there for an hour.
Yeah, that would be the key. All right, so Diggs, of course, you think that y'all's defense can come together to shut him down.
No,
but not shut him down, but at least give him some problems, at least. I mean, you would hope.
He's gonna have 120 receiving yards.
Well, you will have someone to worry about on the other side. The Bills are getting back John Brown, who was injured some of this season, but in previous seasons he had 1,000-yard season.
He was back last week. He was back.
Yeah.
He's meaningful. He is meaningful. He makes their offense a lot better. I like John Brown a lot. They got Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis, rookie's been playing good. They just signed Kenny Stills. I mean, they got a bunch of guys. It can't be. Our goal is to make them beat us throwing the ball, but not way down the field. Make them throw 8-yard passes. And if Josh can do that over and over again, we're probably done. But I think that's going to be our plan.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so you got Colts over the Bills.
Yeah. Scoring
margin. Talk to me. What do you think? You think the Colts, you think it'll be a close game, or do you think y'all will beat them by a little bit?
I think, let's think. Let's go 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals, so 27-20. 27-20. They're going to have a chance at the end. And Kenny Moore gets picked. Seals the game.
All right, so that's our Saturday slate of games. Sunday. We got Ravens versus Titans. In the game? Yeah, of course I got the Bills. Okay. What is wrong with you? Yes. Ravens, Titans, Bears, Saints, and Browns, Steelers. Start at the top and go down? Let's do it. All right, so Ravens versus the Titans. The Tits. We love them. They're from Tennessee, so we root for them for that reason. And you know what? I root for them just because I hate the Ravens. I have nothing against the Steelers. I do hate the Ravens very, very much. But in this game, I think that the Ravens will get them, man. I think that the Ravens are super hot right now. Not saying that they face the best competition in the last few weeks, but Lamar has been playing great. He's actually been completing passes. We already know what their run game is like. Dobbins as well as Gus Edwards. And literally probably the best running back in all of football, not named like Kamara and Henry, would be Lamar Jackson. Like Lamar Jackson is probably the best back in all of football. So the thing is, if the Titans actually had a formidable defense, I would maybe go with the Titans because their offense is great. I mean, Tannehill, he's playing solid. He's not even playing just like a game manager. I would say a game manager would be like an Alex Smith type. Tannehill is throwing the ball down the field, completing passes to guys like Corey Davis and, of course, Brown. Brown had 1,000-yard season last year. I'm not sure if he got to 1,000 this year. Did he?
He got 1,000 this year, yeah.
As he should have. I mean, he's a fantastic – they have weapons on
offense, but he missed 2-3 games too.
Yeah, he is great. But the problem is the defense of the Titans. Now, their run defense, it's not as weak as their pass defense. So that is their saving grace. But yeah, I don't see how this Titans defense stops the Ravens. Am I wrong here?
I don't think so. I think there's a couple things. So, this team played each other this year, and the Titans won an OT, and they played in the playoffs, and the Titans controlled the game and made Lamar uncomfortable, and he didn't look like Lamar, but he still got the numbers, but he didn't look the same. Granted, the Ravens defense has gotten worse since then. I don't know how. They signed guys. They should have made their defense better, but it just didn't happen this year. But they couldn't really stop the Titans anyway. So with their good defense last year, they couldn't stop the Titans. But the Titans could stop the Ravens. They can't stop anybody now. And you can say, hey, their pass defense is bad and Lamar really can't pass, but it's so bad that Lamar's going to be able to pass on them. And the run defense isn't half bad, but no matter what your run defense says, it's a whole lot different to stop a zone rush than it is to stop Lamar Jackson running the ball. Because Lamar Jackson, like you said, is a top 5 running back in the league who plays the position of quarterback and does it great. I'll take the Ravens by 7, maybe even 10. I know this is, a lot of people are going with the Ravens here. They're the hot team. But if the Ravens were hot and the Titans were hot, I think it's an argument. Titans haven't been playing well. They really haven't. And Deshaun Watson is a similar guy to Lamar Jackson. And Deshaun, with no Will Fuller and no one else, just Brandon Cooks out there, almost beat him. And they had a backup kicker in there. I don't know where Gostowski is, but if he can't play, that's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. With the Titans, man, like I said, a great offense. Derrick Henry, he's going to be able to run. He's going to be able to move the chains. Their only saving grace is if they get up, a lot like the Colts versus Bills game, it will determine on if the Titans will be able to get up and play with the lead, because if the Ravens are playing from behind, they won't be able to run as much, maybe force Lamar into some passes. But even then, the pass defense, it obviously is kind of atrocious. It got tore up by, of course, the MVP, Aaron Rodgers, and got tore up versus
Baker.
Yeah, by everybody. It's literally gotten destroyed by.
Did you see what the Browns did to them? I mean, the Browns made them look. That was the match. I mean, the Browns beat the Colts early in the year. It didn't look that bad. We had a couple guys missing, and they beat us. But they killed the Titans. I mean, it was over in the first quarter, and Baker was diming on them. So if that style of run can work, which I do think a big difference. Last year Mark Ingram was good. Don't get me wrong, Mark Ingram was a good running back, but J.K. Dobbins is a lot more flashy, a lot more I'm going to make you miss, and then Gus Edwards can do what Mark Ingram did. So you have an actual dynamic running back with a power back. It's with Lamar Jackson. Hollywood Brown's been in there a little more. Des Bryant's been catching passes. I like the Ravens.
Indeed. For the Ravens, I will say their receiver, Adam Andrews, I believe Mark Andrews. Yeah, he's going to be questionable for the game. You said he'll probably play, but questionable. Very questionable. Yeah. All right, moving on. Bears versus Saints. Dude, this might have the makings for an upset. I will say that. This might be the makings for the upset. Now, we do know the Saints' history in the playoffs. Losing to Vikings, of course, in that crazy game where the boy Diggs caught that pass, made two guys run into each other, and game over in the end. Of course, the blown call versus the Rams, but they did have an opportunity after that. They just didn't make the play. You can blame the refs, but you can also blame yourselves. Maybe don't put yourself in that position. And then against the Vikings last year, lost against them. Shouldn't have been in that position. Against the Bears this year, Mitchell Trubisky basically fighting for his job. If he doesn't win this game, he might be out of Chicago either way. As far as the Saints go, the Saints, of course, their playoff history, but if Kamara and the rest of their running backs can't play because of COVID, and Drew Brees going against a nasty Chicago defense dealt with literally all but one of his ribs being broken. If they get after him, sack him, hurt him, you put in Taysom Hill, but we'll see what he does in the playoffs. The playoffs is a different animal than the regular season. And then Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, he should be available for the game, but he has been injured.
Just got alert from Ian Rappaport saying he is back at practice. So
absolutely.
Right on cue.
Indeed, he could be a little rusty though. So this has we can stir up the pot, man. This has all the makings for a Saint upset.
It does, but I don't think it's going to happen. It does change if the running back room is not available. But from what I've heard, it's going to be available. If it's available, I don't know. I do think Mitch Trubisky has played himself into a job. I think they're going to run it back. David Montgomery has been killing it on the run game, and they've been good with using Montgomery a lot and Trubisky playing how he's playing. I think it is a good recipe. I think you can go out and get some more receivers. You can go out, help get a better line, go out, start using Cole Kmet more at tight end. Like, you can do a lot to make that team a more formidable playoff team, but it is a playoff team. But I think Sean Payton can plan how to beat the Bears without Drew Brees having to shoulder the load and be the guy that beats the team. So I'd go Saints here. I would like, so let's say the Seahawks win. Let's say the Seahawks win. So it'd be Bucks, Packers, Seahawks, Saints. I think the Seahawks could beat them. If you have the Bucks win and the Rams win, so it'd be Rams, Packers. It would be Bucks, Saints. That would be an interesting matchup. I would love to see that. After what happened on that Monday Night Football game was like 28-3.
Dude, this whole season they destroyed them in the first game as well.
Yeah. So I think that is interesting. I do think Tom Brady, if he can beat the Washington football team, if that were to happen, I would bet on the Bucks. But either way, this playoffs may not be as difficult as the Saints have faced. If you get to play a team you've already killed twice, and then you get to play a team that wasn't really a playoff team a couple weeks ago, it's pretty nice for a team that, they can lose to anybody,
Literally. And once again, it just has the makings. As far as the Saints go, I think personally that if they were insert a different team name that wasn't cursed in the playoffs, they might be the best team in the playoffs as far as their offense and defense goes. But they're the Saints.
I think they're the best team in the NFC, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, because they are the Saints, and they do lose this way, and some things just don't change. Besides the Browns being in the playoffs, some things just don't change.
So, yes, just out of respect for how bad the Bears offense is with Mitchell Trubisky going there, I have to go with the Saints. But I would not be surprised. I'd be sitting there watching the game like, okay, this is happening. I get it. I understand why the Saints are losing. So, I will go with the Saints in the game, but do not be surprised. Please don't be surprised if the Bears end up winning this game. Yeah. All right, moving on to the next game. The Browns versus the Steelers. The Browns. When was the last time they've been in the playoffs? What was it, early 2000s?
It's been 18 years.
Woo!
18 years. 18 long years.
The Patriots have won, 6 Super Bowls? 6 Super Bowls since they even made the playoffs.
They've had more in the last 18 years. They've had more 0-16 seasons than playoffs. They've had more 1-15 seasons than playoffs. So I don't know.
Oh, and talk to me about their issues coming into this game.
Well, so last week you had the wide receiver coach, the tight ends coach, the O-line coach, the Denzel Ward, their starting cornerback, one of their starting linebackers, and two starting receivers. Not like their best receivers, but two of their five out last week. From what I'm hearing, most of those coaches are going to miss, and they're getting their receivers back and maybe Denzel Ward back. So maybe get that back. But Coach Kevin Stefanski, who's also the guy who calls plays, is not there. And you have a couple linemen out, a couple defensive players out, another couple receivers out. It doesn't look fair, and they're not going to move the game. They're not going to, even though we've seen, the Steelers have games moved if, kind of helps them out a little bit, but not here, not with the Browns. You're not moving a game for the Browns, and I get it. They said they weren't going to move any playoff games, and they said anyone who gets COVID, it's 10 days. It came at a weird time. They said that, but they said it, and this happened after. You got to deal with it. So what I am confused about, if all those guys had it, and then some guys who were there last week had it, did no one on the Steelers get this? It didn't spread at all. I haven't heard a thing about a Steelers player, coach, which is awesome. I just think it's a little fishy.
Hey, man, maybe the Steelers were over there doing like Trump said, injecting bleach and whatnot into their system. They don't get COVID. All right.
Now, they did manage to, play the Titans, and they had COVID. They didn't get it. They played the Ravens, who had COVID. They didn't get it. So maybe this is just, hey, congratulations to the Steelers. They have the cure of COVID. We need to go to them for the vaccine. No one else. Go to the Steelers organization, and you can get it.
No, absolutely. But yes, realistically for the Steelers, so they said Big Ben. They said an offensive lineman Pouncey, I believe he said.
Yep.
Yeah, for the game. So they should be in good contention coming into this game, should have all their weapons. Obviously, their defense was tops in the league this year. As well, TJ Watt could have been the defensive player of the year. He is definitely top two, deservedly so, whether he wins or comes in second place to Aaron Donald. I think the Steelers' only injuries that they're dealing with is Ebron, their tight end. He might be out, and their running back, Watt. Now, with Ebron, he's awesome. If Eric
the
Ebron,
running back who? The running back.
Their fullback, Watt.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the Watt brothers. With Ebron, he's awesome if he catches the ball. Now, that's a huge if.
I'd say it's like a 60% chance he catches the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe.
If he gets his hands on the ball, he is big, he is fast, he is strong, he hurdles guys, he runs guys over. But that all starts after you catch the ball. And his hands are like bricks. They just the ball just smacks up against them and it falls to the ground.
What if Ebron had like some Larry Fitz hands?
Like, he'd be like Rob Gronkowski.
This dude can always get open. He can command targets. He can catch and run. You can't bring him down. He's big as shit. He can move. Like, it's not like he's just running you over. He can little juke to the side. Like, dude might be something, but it's never happened. I mean, he had a year on the Colts where he caught 13 touchdowns, and he should have had 25. I'm not lying. It was bad, and I was like, everyone's like, yeah, this dude might be the best. I'm like, no. Jack Doyle might be better than him. Like, I don't know, but hey, talent. He is something, and he hasn't been healthy the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think he played 3 weeks ago, but he was only in there. He got hurt, and he hadn't been in there since. So that is a big deal with the running game, and their short passing game is just all short passing game. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Pretty much. All right. Do you think that Myles Garrett gets nasty with Big Ben and gets him out of there? Then they have to play with Mason Rudolph.
Well, no, I mean, I think if we were to see something crazy, it would have been last week because, Myles Garrett had the opportunity to play against the helmet man. So it, I mean, there's always a chance, but I think Big Ben knows what to do. Now, I'm not saying Big Ben's this great quarterback anymore, but he knows to get the ball out. He's like, my line ain't gonna block that well, so I'm gonna throw a 7-yard slant. So I think he's able to get through that. I think the Browns might look a lot different in a playoff field at Pittsburgh with some COVID issues without your play caller and your head coach, your line coach. I don't know. That's tough.
Indeed. All right. So if we see the Steelers beat the Browns and we see the Colts, and we see the Bills, we'll just go with the higher seed. We see the Bills beat the Colts. We got the Steelers facing off against the Ravens for the next game?
Mm-hmm.
Steelers versus Ravens. All right. Who you got in that game? Are you believing in Lamar and the rest of those running backs to do what they're
No. It won't be Steelers Ravens. If the Bills win, it'll be Bills Steelers, Ravens Chiefs. But the game you were talking about will happen because the Colts are going to win. We will have Ravens Steelers, and I will take the Ravens.
You take the Ravens over the Steelers.
Yeah, but let's go chalk. Let's say the Bills win. Bills Steelers. Give me the Bills. Ravens Chiefs. That is something I want to see. That is something I want to see at this point. I want to see the Bills play the Chiefs if the Colts don't do it, but that Ravens Chiefs would be a nice matchup before the Bills would come to town.
If Ravens Chiefs happen, who do you think is the most explosive player in that game? The most X factor of a player in the game?
Stop.
Lamar Jackson or Mahomes?
No. First of all, it's neither of those guys. The most explosive and X factor is Tyreek Hill. So get out of there with that. Nah. Tyreek Hill? Like, Lamar Jackson is athletic. He is freakishly athletic. Tyreek Hill is a cheetah. He's actually a cheetah. Like, it is. No, that would be something I want to see. I want to see what's the Ravens corner? What's his name?
Oh,
fuck. I'm drawing a blank.
Don't worry.
Marlon Humphreys?
Gotcha. Humphreys, yeah.
I want to see Humphreys on Tyreek Hill. I want to see that. I want to see Lamar. If Lamar Jackson can make the passes, I want to see that.
All right. So if that were to happen, we got Humphreys versus Cheetah. Won't be able to slow him down, but that Baltimore defense versus Kelsey, do you think that they'd be able to affect him in any way?
I mean, I think they can slow down both of them a little bit. I think we've seen a little bit of the Chiefs being it. They were clicking for a minute, and I don't know if they're clicking anymore. I'm not saying they're not amazing, but they haven't been the Kansas City Chiefs we've seen in a while. So I do think there is a way. I mean, what's his name? I think Mahomes has had 4 straight games, the first time in his career, with under 100 passer rating. And I don't know, something's going on there. So I do think defenses can affect that. I don't know what Baltimore is going to do differently, but they may just not be the most explosive Chiefs team we've seen. But at the same time, they may not have to be. That team may just be able to beat the Ravens with being good on offense, not great. So,
no, absolutely. Question. So Green Bay would face who if the Saints beat the Bears? Saints beat the Bears. Tampa Bay beats
the Washington
football team.
It's all the It depends on the Rams. So if the Saints,
Rams, yeah.
the Saints Bears, unless the Bears win, it won't change anything. So if it's the lowest seed. So you have the Buccaneers as the 5 seed. You have the Bears as the 7 seed and the Rams as 6 seed. So it's whichever one of those loses. So if the Rams win or the Bears win, they're going to play against the Packers. But if both those teams loses, then you're going to have whoever wins the Buccaneers Washington game.
Do you see any chance of the Packers losing to the Bears or the Rams?
They will not lose to the Bears. I have 100% confidence in Aaron Rodgers winning that game. I mean, the Rams have the potential because if Cam Akers is fully back and healthy, that's the Packers' run. That's the Packers' tough spot is stopping the run, and then you have that great defense can slow down Rodgers a little bit, and anything can happen. That's with Goff. I think there is a chance with that, but the Bears aren't any threat to them. I don't think the Seahawks would be any threat to them. Don't really think the Saints are any threat to them. I think it's the Rams or Bucks have a chance in the NFC to beat the Packers, but I think that's about it.
All right, so we got Bucks versus the Packers. What do you think will win? What do you think will happen in that game?
A lot can happen.
A lot can happen in that game.
First
do
of
they
all,
rush and tear up that Bucks defense? Does Aaron Rodgers just throw on everybody? The Bucks have Bucks are solid top to bottom defensively. So I think that they could offer Rodgers a challenge, but I don't know. Brady, he's not going against a great Green Bay defense. I think that he can score on them. Aaron Rodgers, of course, can score, but I think it would be a little bit tougher.
Yeah. Good. So after watching the NFC, we've discussed this a bunch. There's a lot of weaknesses in every team. There's not really one clear cut. And for a while, I was like, the Packers, they're just not going to go because the run defense kind of sucks. And the way they win is just it doesn't look as promising as it should. Like when Rodgers throws 5 touchdowns in a game, I still don't feel like they won easily, which is a weird feeling. But I think I'd have to go Packers over them just because you're going to play in Lambeau. Rodgers hasn't had home field ever in the playoffs. The first time. I think Aaron Rodgers still has something to prove. He's probably gonna win MVP at 38 years old. I think Tom's back next year. I think you go to a new team. It's not the first time you go to a new team. This is more NBA wise, but first time you go to a new team, it's not usually Super Bowl or bust that year. It's usually you have a 2-year window to go for it. So I'd take the Packers, but it's tough to bet against the actual GOAT of football. So I don't know.
Indeed. The saving grace for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would definitely be because it is their first year of gelling and coming together. It would be insane for them if they were to win the Super Bowl in their first year together. Of course, so many new pieces, adding Brown, adding Gronkowski, and obviously Brady. So many new and moving pieces. If they were to lose, it wouldn't be a big deal. They could just try again the next year. But once again, you just can't give away years because anything can happen. Injury can happen. A pandemic can happen and cancel the season. Anything could happen. I think that the Bucks, like I said, they might. I think I'm gonna roll with them to make it through this NFC side and make it to the playoffs and see Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. But I definitely would not be super surprised to see, honestly, just about any team name the Bucks, the Saints, or the Packers. I would be very surprised if the Saints actually made it there just because they are the Saints. But once again, they are a great team top to bottom. They're just the Saints.
I think here's what I don't know if you'll take a bet like this, but I'll take the AFC to win the Super Bowl.
Oh no, I don't think anything stops Mahomes. You think that if the Bills were to get there, you think that the Bills will win the Super Bowl?
Like I said, I think AFC wins the Super Bowl. I think if the Bills beat the Colts, I think that's my pick.
Wow.
I'm not going to say the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl, obviously, but like if the Bills can beat the Colts, get the monkey off their back, get their first playoff win, then you get to go to the Steelers, who they've already beat, and they get home field advantage. I like that. The Ravens have a real shot at the Chiefs. And then after playing the Ravens, if they win, they got to go up against the Bills. I think it could happen. I really like the Bills over most teams. I think the Bills can beat the Packers in the cold weather, and I think the Bills have a better roster than the Bucs. So, like,
you dare say Josh Allen beats Tom Brady in a Super Bowl? I mean, look, Tom Brady only loses to awful quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, and this is obviously a compliment to Josh Allen. He's not a terrible quarterback.
Well, so, you know what this means? That just means that Tom's not getting there this year.
Ooh.
I mean,
going up against, dude. I think that, you know what? Now that you say that, if the Bucs get past Washington, Tom Brady might not lose, because that is probably the worst quarterback he'll face in the playoffs this year.
Who?
Like Alex Smith.
So he's gonna lose, right?
He just might.
Just tell me he's gonna beat the good quarterbacks, and he's not gonna.
You just might convince me.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll take the Bills. Here's like my Super Bowl team. I will take the Bills if we can ensure they win this week. I'll take the Bills.
Okay.
Now, if the Colts win, it's a whole different ballgame. I think you have to go with the Colts or the Chiefs in that scenario, because I don't see the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. I don't see them getting there. And I don't see the Steelers getting there. I really don't. I don't think they got enough. So, I don't know.
All right. Best quarterback performance this weekend. In that we'll go NFC and then we'll go AFC. Who do you think will perform the best at the quarterback position?
Okay.
Yeah. I think
we got Tom against. Okay, go.
Yeah. No, I think Tom Brady in the NFC. I think Tom Brady definitely does have the best performance against that Washington team. AFC, I would have to go with Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to tear that Titans defense up. I think he's going to go for a check. So as far as quarterbacks, best performances, Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady.
So you're telling me. I'm just getting inside. You're telling me that Lamar is going to play better than Josh Allen this weekend.
This weekend, Lamar Jackson is going to outplay Josh Allen.
I like that because I mean one of those guys is going to win. So I will go Lamar Jackson on the AFC side too. And you're not giving me any options on the NFC side. I mean, you're giving me Drew Brees, who has been in the playoffs and has kind of a noodle arm a little bit. You're giving me John Wolford. You're giving me Russell Wilson, who hasn't been it lately against the Rams. So, I mean, it has to be Tom Brady, right? I mean, like it's like –
Or Russell Wilson has to play godly for them to get the W versus the Rams.
He's not going to have to. What is Wofford going to do? I mean, I think the Rams have a chance to win this, but I don't think the Rams have a chance to put up 30 points like in any outcome. So the Seahawks can win this game with 21 points. Whether they get it, I don't know, but I don't see this being, hey, this is a shootout. That's the thing about the Ravens. I think the Ravens Titans has a chance to be a shootout. I think if I had to say who's the second best quarterback in the AFC, I'd probably take Tannehill. I think Tannehill is going to have a hell of a game. I think that game is going to be whatever the over. I think the over is around 55.
Mm-hmm.
I'd push the over button on that one pretty easily. So I like that.
All right. Biggest upset. We're going going some upset. Who do you think has the highest chance of an upset this weekend? We'll go NFC and then go AFC.
So is it an upset if the Rams beat the Seahawks?
Yeah, it would be an upset. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're just going like the higher seed.
Yeah.
Rams, Seahawks. Yeah, I'll take the Rams. I don't think the Rams have the best chance. If they get Jared Goff back, I think they're the favorite to win that game. So yeah, I'll take that. And then, unless you want to say the Ravens is an upset, I don't think the Ravens is an upset. So I'll take the Colts.
Well, they're favorites. So.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Hey, Cooper Kupp activated on active roster.
Woo! He's gonna be back.
Go! And the Browns activate linebacker B.J. Goodson. So I don't know if he's good at football or not. I'm assuming he is, but we'll see.
We'll see. I think on the AFC side, the Titans are the underdog. I'd have to go with the Titans. I mean, I would go just because the Titans are the underdog, even though they're the home dog. I'd have to go with the Titans because I don't think that they'll be able to beat the Ravens. And yes, on the NFC side, once again, I would not be that surprised to see the Bears beat the Saints. So since I said that wouldn't be that surprising, yeah, upset potential. I'm gonna go with the Bears. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bears over the Saints.
Okay, so what kind of shot you give the Browns to beat the Steelers?
I think that I don't think that they can beat the Steelers, just being honest. Like we said, early in the season, Steelers wiped them off the map. And then with Mason Rudolph, the Steelers lost by two points.
I will say that they did use a little bit of Josh Dobbs, a little Tennessee boy out there doing some work out there.
Josh Dobbs at quarterback might be able to beat the Browns. And I mean, once again, another cursed franchise. I wouldn't even call the Browns cursed because it's not like the Browns have all this potential and then just things crumble like the Saints. They just have sucked for pretty much the entirety of their franchise history since they've gotten into the NFL. Now, pre-NFL, whenever they joined the NFL, I think like 1960s, 1950s, they won like 10 championships. It was crazy. Quarterback by Otto Graham had Jim Brown just putting in work. Like those guys were dominant. But since then, it's been the Browns. So, yeah. No,
right,
I don't think they will.
I got a bet for you.
Talk to me.
$10. Either the Colts or the Washington football team wins this week.
Colts or Washington football team. Okay, I'll take that bet. I think neither team wins.
Okay.
All right, live on there. First bet of the year. We'll have to keep up with these things. First bet of the year. We'll see what happens. All right. Well, that's all we got. We'll see what happens in the playoffs this weekend. Saturday, January 9th, Colts, Bills, Rams, Seahawks, Bucks, Washington, and then Sunday, January 10th, Ravens, Titans, Bears, Saints, Browns, Steelers. Yo, we might do an Instagram live, like watch some of the game with us. So be sure to tune into that. Check us out on Twitter at GZcast.
We're gonna be. I'm gonna be putting out some polls for y'all to pick what y'all think for this weekend's games. Get a little interaction going. See whose side y'all are on for this bet. And what's the YouTube? Plug the YouTube real quick.
And the YouTube at the GaZcast. You can find our episodes on there. You can find us on any podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the GaZcast. So it has been Gabriel Jones and my boy Zebo. Thanks for listening. We out.
Absolutely. See y'all next week.